So this is going to be the first Bakugan deck profile I'm doing on this channel, so please bear with me as I am still experimenting with different things. If you have any feedback, feel free to leave it in the comments down below, and that way I could actually improve on these deck profiles. But of course, I'm just going to be trying out things right now, so hopefully you guys enjoy. So this is basically my Darkus and Aquos deck profile here, with the support of an Aurelus Bakugan as well to actually facilitate beat sticks and everything like that, and high power attack. But yeah, this is something I'm really happy about. Of course, the deck does still need a lot of improvement because booster packs are not the cheapest thing out there. I've played different card games before, particularly Yu-Gi-Oh! And Vanguard and Pokemon, and the booster packs are way cheaper for those, of course, and because of that, it's much harder to actually get everything you need for Bakugan, not to mention the fact that they actually have a very high card pool, so you could actually pull so many different cards that it's just very difficult to get yourself a playset of them. That being said, this is my particular deck profile, so let's actually show things off here. So these are the three Bakugan. I will move them slightly aside here. I am playing a Garganoid Ultra, I am playing Darkus Ultra, and I'm also playing an Aquos Fangzor. I felt that these were the best because firstly, they all have very high B power. It's more so the ratios, so the B power and the damage as well. This is 801, which is really amazing for Darkus, and I also very much so like Darkus in this particular version of the game, as opposed to the original series where I actually preferred Ventus. I also like Fangzor because it's 601, so definitely great stats, and of course the 703 is very good for Aurelus Garganoid Ultra here, so definitely very nice. So let's get them opened up and see what they have. The other thing I would like to also mention is that all three have the Fire Fist and the Green Fist as well, which is definitely very good because it makes things very easy here, and it does synergize with all of them. So that's definitely really amazing. But let's open up all these Bakugan so that you guys could actually know which ones are which. So here is our Darkus Ultra, definitely very nice here. Let me just bring it up here and zoom up. Alright, so definitely a really cool Bakugan. Obviously this is the Ultra, and there is no limit to how many Ultras you can play in a deck. There's no rule to that or anything, so feel free to play 3 Ultras if you feel, but in this particular case I am playing 2 Ultras, so I'm going to put that aside here. Now let's open something else. Here is Fangzor. So obviously not much to it, just as is. And of course here is Garganoid. So bring this up here. This one I really like. This is probably one of my most favorite Bakugan so far, just because the design is just really amazing for Garganoid. Really like it. So yeah, but that's pretty much it for the Bakugan. So let's move them aside and then let's go with the deck profile. Alright, so just before we go for the deck profile, obviously we have all of these, so that means we're allowed to play 3 Fire Fist as well as 3 regular Green Fist. So if you're wondering what I'm actually playing, I'm playing all of these here. So all of these are actually the same, 250 plus 3. And for this one, we have these ones. So these two are the same, plus 150 and plus 2. And this one is plus 100 and plus 3 for all Darkus and Aquos Bakugan. So it's definitely very specific, meaning if the opponent is not playing Darkus or Aquos and they roll onto this, then they're not going to get any bonuses. Whereas all of these, I'm focusing more so on boosting my own Bakugan rather than to play a trap that reduces the opponent's Bakugan. I just felt that it definitely was the way to go here. Not to mention, these were the best cores I really had that I felt were necessary for the deck. But now let's move on to the deck. Alright, so for the deck itself, we're playing, for the Darkus cards, we're playing 1 Cloak in Shadow. Definitely a really nice card because you get Shadow Strike, which is something that I just really like that particular skill in this particular one. So because of that, I think it's definitely really amazing. Not to mention, to give it to Darkus, which already has high B power, it's definitely well worth playing this card for a very decent cost as well. We're also playing one Dark Boost, again, just more specifics on damage. So again, +5 is definitely quite nice here. Don't have to worry too much about boosting the B power on the Bakugan since they're already very inherently high. That being said, I do still need to do several other things as well. But we're also playing a Curse of Darkness. Sometimes you just got to reduce your opponent's damage as well, because sometimes they can overwhelm you. What I do like about Darkus is that they also have the keyword sacrifice. Sacrifice is just a really amazing keyword that we have here, and that's basically to discard a card for additional effects. So this one, you could potentially, for just 2 energy, hold on, let me just focus up here. Potentially for 2 energy, you could either take away 2 damage from your opponents, or if you use sacrifice, you could take away 10, which is definitely very nice here to reduce the amount of damage you would actually potentially take. We're also playing 1 copy of Darkus Strike here. Darkus Strike is a very interesting card because obviously this one is specific to Darkus as well. It's odd, but you know, these cards here can all be applied to Garganoid and Fangzor, but this one, if you're using it on, obviously, Hyderus, then what this means is you could also make your opponent discard a card, which is definitely very nice. We're also playing 1 Cycling Madness. 3 costs, you can draw a card and your opponent discards a card and return this to the bottom of your deck. So make sure that you don't always lose a card, and your opponent also has to get rid of one of their resources. I definitely really like it, hoping I could maybe get more of them. We're also playing Unrivaled Jump. This is definitely a great way to boost up your Bakugan's power, so always guaranteeing you the win in the battle there. We're also playing 2 copies here of Prismatic Bolt, plus 300 and plus 6 damage. Definitely a very nice card, and yeah, it's just really awesome. Now, sometimes I might get into the late game and I want a lot of B power to really ensure that I win. So because of that, I am playing Magnus. Of course, it requires 8 energy, which means it's going to be very late before you play it. I only have 1 copy of it. I am planning to get 2 more copies of it to actually maximize my consistency here. But that being said, he is definitely a really amazing card because plus 5,000 B power is pretty much going to guarantee you the win for that battle, allowing you to pretty much finish your opponents off in that final turn, most likely. We're also playing Kurian as well. Definitely a really nice hero card. When you play a flip card, you may draw a card. So definitely really nice there, and of course hero cards acts like continuous spell cards for Yu-Gi-Oh! If you guys get the reference there. But yeah, they pretty much are a passive of skill that stays on the field, or passive effect, and as a result you kind of get bonuses based on the conditions. Next, we also have a Gravity Shift, definitely a really nice card. Choose one of your Bakugans and it gets either 1000 B power or 10 damage, so depending on what situation you're in, this could definitely benefit you in really amazing ways here. So really much so like this, because if you deal 10 damage, you can mill out so many cards from your opponent's deck. Otherwise, if you're just lacking in power, then feel free to just boost them up. So really amazing card, really like it. I'm also playing 1 Evo card, and that is the Hyper Hyderus Ultra. Not too amazing, but giving the 5 additional damage with the Fire Fist and also the Shadow Strike is definitely really amazing for the Hyderus Ultra here. Now let's actually move on to the flip card. So we actually have Pact of Darkness. So Pact of Darkness is basically, it can block all non-Darkus Bakugans, so definitely really nice. And you could also use Sacrifice, where you could basically discard a card to play it for free. Of course, you don't want to pay the cost of 4, so instead you just discard a card, which is definitely really nice there. We're also playing 1 Punish. Choose a player to discard a card. Not particularly the best card, but overall to get rid of your opponent's resources or force them to get rid of it. Thing is this, the whole purpose of this deck is try to reduce the cards in your opponent's hand, or rather their resources, so they can't actually use anything against you. As a result, you're able to just boost up all your damage or your B powers, and then just pretty much always win every single match you can. And with the high power Bakugan, it works really amazingly here. Then, of course, we're also playing Cease Outsiders. We're playing 3 copies of these. This one is very, very situational. It might actually be a really bad card to play, but it stops all non-Darkus, which means that if we do go up against a Darkus Bakugan player, then obviously it's going to be very bad for us because we can't actually block them at all. But I still think it's worth playing. I do know that right now the top decks are currently Darkus Pyrus. That's definitely one of the best mixes you could play so far. But that's pretty much it for the Darkus cards. Let's move on to the Aquos cards. Alright, we're playing a lot more Aquos cards in this particular deck than the Darkus cards, so that's simply just because a lot of the Aquos cards are very versatile compared to Darkus cards, which are all focused on increasing power and everything like that. But yeah, so here is Water Slash, just a very cheap cost, 1 cost, plus 2 damage, just an additional cost there for actually dealing more damage to your opponent, which is very nice. We're also playing a triple blast cannon, very cheap cost here, and it also negates an action card as well, which is definitely very nice. Comes in a lot actually. We're also playing 2 copies of Mind Flood, a 2 costs, plus 2 damage, and for every other card you played this turn, you could also gain an additional 2+ as well. So definitely very cheap, and it combos very well with a lot of your other Aquos cards, which are ultimately just very cheap costing cards. We're playing 1 Ebb as well, again plus 2, and Flow. If you played another card this turn, then you get plus 5 instead, so definitely very nice, very cheap. We also have here Think Again, 2 cost, draw a card, and Flow, you could draw 2 cards instead, so very nice. We're playing Cycling Thoughts, draw 2 cards, then return this card to the bottom of your deck, so again, you're not trying to lose resources here, will definitely do the job. We're playing a Wave Slash, plus 300 power, Flow. If you played another card this turn, plus 1000. That is a huge boost, and it's really amazing. This one is a card that I'm actually hoping to get 2 more copies of so that I could play a full play set of them. Very good card indeed. We're also playing Inspires. So Inspire, we're playing 3 copies of this. Reason why is because you get plus 1 damage and you get to draw a card. Not only that, but you're also only paying 1. So overall, it combos very well with it combos incredibly well with Mind Flood, as well as all these other ones which have Flow. The keyword just works really amazingly here, and I think for a card like that, it's definitely well worth playing. We're also playing 2 copies of Ice Wall, plus 900 B power is definitely very nice to guarantee you the win here. For hero cards, we are playing 1 copy of Shun Kazami. Evos you cost will be 1 energy less to play, so definitely very nice. That being said, here's our Evo, Hyper Fangzor, 4 cost. The boost is not too bad, but the thing is when you play this, you also get to draw 2 cards, so it's definitely quite nice here. Oddly, this was at the back of my deck, I don't know why, but we have 3 copies of Tides, plus 200 B power, and Flow if you played another card this turn, also plus 400 B power. For the cost of 1 energy is definitely really amazing, so very much so a well worth it card to play in this deck. For flip cards, we're playing 2 copies of Counter Outsiders. Basically, any non-Aquos decks or non-Aquos Bakugan will be blocked from this. So definitely very nice here. I don't see people playing too many Aquos decks. Like I said before, the current meta is Darkus Pyrus. So you definitely will make the most effect out of the Counter Outsiders here. I'm pretty sure you guys can guess the final 3 flip cards I'm playing, and that is Exhilarate. I'm pretty sure anybody who's playing Aquos will know what Exhilarate does, and that is simply pay 1, draw a card. It's just such an amazing card to play, and despite the fact that you might be decking out yourself, you do want to draw into your resources, which is something that this card helps you do. And because of that, it's just really amazing. But that's basically it for this deck profile, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. I very much so have a lot of fun playing with this deck, been testing it out against myself even, and it's just really cool with the different interactions. I really love this team, and I definitely just hope I can get 3 copies of a few more other cards as well, such as Magnus, But yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck profile, so do give me a bit of feedback on this. Tell me if you like it, tell me if you don't, and I'll fix on that in the future. But in the meantime, I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time.